In 1936, printers John Fraser and David Neve ventured into soft drinks, and F&N became one of the first franchisees of Coca-Cola, producing and bottling Coca-Cola in Singapore and Malaysia. Today, the business is fully owned by the Coca-Cola Company, and through engaging advertisements, clever brand associations, and aligning themselves with the right celebrity, Coke has made itself a household name. The keeper of Coke's history since 1997 is Ted Ryan. His official title is Director of Heritage Communications for the Coca-Cola Company, which means he has the resources to dig up what Coca-Cola ads looked like in Singapore in the 1950s.
The interesting thing, and we only pulled the Chinese versions on these are from the 50s, I believe 1952, is just that we advertise in market in a way that resonated with people. We also have English versions of these ads and Malay versions of these ads, and so whatever we advertise where everybody could see it. This one is the Chinese New Year one, which is a great opportunity when families come together. Coca-Cola ought to always be there. So the Chinese New Year is a perfect place to advertise.
So these were flyers?
These are agency prints that would have gone in the newspaper. Right. So the agency produced these for approval, and then the ad would have been placed in the local newspapers.
Right. And do you see how it's changed in Singapore, and how Coke is sort of like sent to the masses, the message? Has it changed in any way?
It's changed, but Coca-Cola is essentially, this Chinese New Year is a perfect example. It's an optimistic brand, open happiness, and a place where families meet. So we had that same sensibility even back in 1952. Open happiness, your family's gathering, you ought to have a Coke there.
As an archivist, you're definitely an observer of how Coke is within the company, and even from the outside looking in, and how it relates to culturally, in pop culture and just around the world. So how, from your eyes, from your perspective, how has Coke changed since 1997?
Coca-Cola, how has Coca-Cola changed, or how has the profession changed? Let me answer the profession, because it's fascinating. I began with the company in 1997, and the web barely existed. Yep. Our very first website was 1996, and now we not only have the web, we have Facebook, we have Twitter. The ads are done digitally. There's very little real things anymore, and it's a digital realm, and I'll tell you what, it's very expensive, and it's very difficult to archive.
Is digital less or more valuable than the physical?
Digital is every bit as valuable as the physical, because in essence, if we're culture historians, I have gone to great pains to recreate our first website and subsequent websites, because 50 years from now you're going to want to know how you were marketing. Just because something was from 1905 doesn't make it any more valuable than a website devoted to the 2012 Olympic Games. We always say that we went from pharmacy to Facebook. Coca-Cola has adapted and has really embraced the new technology. So many of our ads now are mobile. A lot of the ads are done specifically for the web as opposed to producing printed material.
As an archivist for the Coca-Cola Company, Ted says it's his job to pull together the best stories that help the company.
I always say that I could teach the history of the world through Coca-Cola advertising. Our ads mirror the best of society. If you want to know about women's fashion, look at an ad from 1905 and then look at it from 1995 and see how it's changed. Music over time. So as an archivist, we're really a cultural historian, and it's the best job in the world.
Among the thousands of items in the Coke archives, the prototypes of the iconic Contour bottle are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The most expensive item is of course the Coca-Cola recipe, but for that, Ted couldn't reveal how much it's worth. Finally, I asked the keeper of Coke's history what his earliest memory of the soft drink was, and it was a story he hasn't told before. What is your earliest memory of Coke?
My earliest memory of Coke is from 1974, when my grandfather took me to a baseball game, and at the baseball game he purchased a Coca-Cola. I'm turned into a lifelong baseball fan because of my grandfather, and I remember that Coke today.
Who was playing?
The Atlanta Braves played the Houston Astros, and Atlanta Braves got killed. They lost 14-1.
And you're a fan of?
Atlanta Braves.
Of course.
And I built the Braves Museum at Turner Field later in my life, but I remember that first Coke, that first baseball game, and my grandfather linked together.
Don't forget to catch the first part where we meet two Singapore collectors who are crazy over Coke.